And one of those A's, Apple. They will deliver results after the close, and shares are down in the early trade after the company suffered a loss in court related to its App Store sales commissions. The judge presiding over the case said that Apple intended to create new anti-competitive barriers and thought that it could get away with it. We're joined now by Craig Moffett, founding partner and senior research analyst at MoffettNathanson. Craig is a rare bear on Apple. There's a lot to talk about here, including how people are buying phones to get ahead of the tariffs. But these legal cases alone, how much of an issue does this create? Because you do have a federal judge in this case deferring the company to prosecutors for a possible criminal probe in this matter.
Yeah, good morning, Shanali. You're right. This is a significant issue, in part because the part of Apple that investors seem to be most excited about for the last few years has been services, and in this case gets at a very specific plank of Apple's services revenue, and that is charging companies for, or I should say, prohibiting companies from working outside of the Apple platform for handling payments and subscriptions and that sort of thing, and taking a significant cut of the revenues that come because of that prohibition. So the fact that that has been called illegal is potentially material. I would point out, though, it's only one of two really significant cases, and that's before we get to the antitrust cases against Apple itself. The one that we've been watching really carefully is the Google antitrust case, where the payments that Google makes to Apple, which represent about 25% of Apple's operating income, have already been called illegal by the judge in that case, Judge Maida, and where it's important to note the current administration has specifically declined to withdraw their own recommendation that those payments be stopped. So it's been striking to us that as that case has developed, and that first you had the finding that the payments were illegal, and then you had the recommendation from the courts that those payments should stop, that it hasn't really been reflected at all in the stock price.
Yeah, $20 billion is not an insignificant amount of payments, even for Apple. Craig, why are you such a rare bear? I mean, I look at the Bloomberg terminal ANR function, and I can see that there are only 3 cells on this company out of 60 analysts. How come this market is so hesitant to say get out of Apple?
Yeah, good morning, Matt. You know, I would say I am not a bear on Apple. I think I have a tremendous amount of respect for the company. I love the company's products just like everyone else does. My concern has been from the beginning that the valuation for Apple is out of line with its growth expectations. That's, you know, when we moved to a sell rating in the beginning of this year, Apple was trading at something like 2x the PEG ratio of the rest of the Mag 7. So as tariffs the tariff story has developed since April 2nd, tariffs have become almost the only thing that people pay attention to with Apple. But there's some longer term questions that are reasonable to ask about Apple's growth rate that suggests that the valuation was simply too stretched for a company with the kind of growth profile that Apple has, not just now, but is likely to have for the next few years.